What is up, guys? It is Harsh Truth coming to you guys with our first ever podcast. I'm Milad Safdari, and this is
Bobby.
And we are just two cool college kids who just graduated this past year, and we decided why not start a little podcast. We're thinking of doing it on sports, so that's how we're going to begin it, but who knows where we'll go after this. But for now, today, we're going to be talking about sports. Let's give ourselves a little bit of introduction to you guys so you guys can get to know us a little bit, because we've never recorded a podcast before. And I don't even know if you'd call this a podcast, but, you know, it's just two dudes coming together and talking about whatever we want to talk about. So I'm Milad. I graduated UCLA this past year. I have another YouTube channel. I post vlogs on that channel, studied math and computer science, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I love the Lakers. I'm a huge Lakers fan. I'm a huge Rams fan. So, you know, go Lakers and go Rams. I'll tell you guys more in future podcasts about myself, so I won't give everything away right now. But I'm going to pass the mic over to Bobby so he could give you a little bit of an intro.
Yeah, I mean, as Milad said, I'm Bobby. I'm a recent grad as well. I graduated from UCR, and I think both of us we've known each other for how long? Like, over a decade now?
Yeah, since third grade, I think.
Yeah, so we have a lot of history. We're good friends, and we're two people who just like sports, and we thought that since we always talk about it off camera and things like that, we thought why not share our thoughts publicly, I guess.
All right, awesome. You ready to get started with the actual meat and potatoes of the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's an odd way to put it, meat and potatoes? What does that even mean?
It sounds like something Shannon Sharp would say, you know?
Sure.
So I had to do it to them.
The meat and potatoes.
The meat and potatoes. Okay, so today's topic is going to be about the Lakers and their future this next season and the uncertainties and how potentially the Lakers might not be that great of a team this next season. And I know you guys may be wondering, what do you mean? You just said you're Lakers fans. How could you possibly say that? But you'll find out what we have to say about the topic. Okay. So let's begin with the first question. I'm going to propose this question to you, Bobby.
Okay.
This one was something interesting that, like, usually we don't think of during the off season, but I thought it would be cool to bring up.
All right.
Considering how many new faces we have on the roster this year, you think any trades will happen this next season with the Lakers?
I think, and this is probably going to be kind of a surprise, I think the one person to get traded would be Kyle Kuzma. And the reason I say that is because, like, let's say, for example, the Lakers start off, I don't know, what's a bad start for the Lakers? Like,
I guess maybe like 8-6. No, that's too bad. I was gonna say 8-16, but that's a lot worse than it should be. But I guess anything under 500 of a start.
Anything under 500 or anything at 500, I think is a bad start for the team. Yeah. I think one name you're going to hear a lot is probably going to be Kyle Kuzma, because that's, if you think about it, that's like one of our only tradable assets.
Yeah.
That's valuable.
I mean, yeah, he's one of our only tradable assets, but I guess that's the good thing. We signed most of these guys to 2-year deals, so it brings their value up as a tradable asset, so people won't be trading for like a 1-year rental type of thing. But yeah, continue.
So I was gonna say is, like, let's say by All-Star break, for example, that team is performing like below under expectations, right? Mm-hmm. I think you're gonna see a lot of rumors starting about how Lakers will probably try to acquire another All-Star, and the only way they could do that is with Kyle Kuzma, because he's the only valuable trade asset, in my opinion, on that team right now.
So that brings up the next question then. Who do you think they would trade Kyle Kuzma for, and what do you think might happen?
The only player, I mean, maybe you know another player as well, but the only one...
I think I know who you're about to say.
I think so too. I was thinking Bradley Beal.
Yep, that's exactly who I was
That is literally the only player I could think of that the Lakers would go after. If, let's say, everything goes wrong and Kyle Kuzma isn't what we thought he would be, that's probably the player they would target. But I feel like the Wizards would probably want more than just Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the
You
only
have to throw
player.
in-
Yeah, that's the only
maybe-
player that comes to mind for me.
Might have to throw in a Danny Green or something with that deal.
I think more than Danny Green, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't even know who else. Maybe
Would you-
our rookie.
Would you pull that trigger?
It depends. Like if it all depends like how the team does and how Kuzma kind of fits into the equation, right? I think personally the way his game is set up, being a pure scorer essentially, I think it's gonna fare nicely with Anthony Davis and LeBron. To me,
Yeah, I think he was the best fit out of all the young rookies from last year, except for Josh Hart next to LeBron in terms of being a shooter who can. You know, Josh Hart may have been
he's not even a shooter if you think about it. I don't consider him a shooter. I just consider him like a scorer, someone who can get
Buckets.
get like buckets and who can heat up really quickly.
Yeah.
And like
He's that little wild card.
exactly. And I think the next step for him is to be more consistent and defensively be better, at least solid, because he's pretty bad defensively. He's horrible.
Yeah. And hopefully he's been working on that. I've seen some videos on Instagram of him with Team USA.
Yeah.
Looking a little better on defense, but, you know, we'll see how that goes. He looks determined.
Yeah.
So hopefully that translates well on paper. But even good players may play poorly if it's not next to the correct players.
And you brought up something really good, the Team USA. Like from the highlights I've seen from him, he's changed his shot as well.
Yeah.
The way he shoots is a lot more fluid. It's a lot more I don't know, it's more technically like smoother, if that makes sense. Like mechanically smoother the way he's shooting now. It's really nice. And I hope it translates. But then again, you know, we were saying last year like, oh, the young core and LeBron is going to be a seamless fit. They're guaranteed the playoffs. So not everything goes to expectations. So that's why I think it's a wait and see type of thing. And I think like the theme for this season is wait and see. It's a wait and see. We don't know what's going to happen.
And I think you brought up something interesting because this has to do with another question I had written up. And it was comparing the new roster with the old roster.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of how good of a team we may be this next year, there's a lot of new pieces. I have the two rosters pulled up on my laptop.
That's not even an understatement. Everything is new. Even the coaching staff.
Coaching staff as well. Yeah, you're right. We have so many new names, not including like the rookies, but most of our team it's not the same as it was last year. So that's a complete change up. We don't have Lonzo, Ingram, Hart, which was a key part of our team this last season. At least we got Rondo, JaVale McGee back, which, you know, they played well for us and they contributed big minutes for us.
Especially McGee.
Exactly. McGee was a big center for us who played those big minutes for us. But, like, you know, we brought KCP back, but we both know how you feel about him. And but we lost big players. Like, we also lost people like Lance Stevenson and Mo Wagner and Ivica Zubac, so which, like, you know, it's a bit of a change. And, like, sometimes change is good, but, like, I think meshing well at the beginning of the season might take some time. And there's a lot of X factors that go into this situation that, like, we don't know how it's going to play out. Like, you know, on paper, we look really well. Like, I think some names we even forgot about already is Troy Daniels and Quinn Cook. And
really underrated.
And Avery Bradley, which, like, you know, were good signings by us, which, you know, they came from environments that they didn't really have too much of an opportunity to thrive in. Well, they thrived in those environments, but now they have the chance to prove themselves. That's the one thing I would describe our current team with, is it's filled with people who are, like, ready to prove themselves. Like, I think that's why McGee came out balling last season, because he had this mindset to prove himself. And I also have faith in LeBron James in bringing this team together and bringing the best out of all the players. So hopefully he'll be able to revive Dwight Howard, or hopefully he'll be able to, like, you know, revive Avery Bradley's career. And, like, you know, someone like Danny Green's going to fit in like butter next to LeBron James.
Yeah. Well, I'd be careful with saying that LeBron James, you have faith in LeBron James, like, bringing the team together. I say that because, you know, last year we had that same expectation. I had that same expectation. Oh, it's the young core. Is LeBron James will figure it out, right?
Yeah,
and you can make the argument that he kind of did. I think by last year, if you remember, like before he got hurt during the Golden State game, Christmas game, if you remember, the team was clicking. I thought.
Yeah.
I thought they were figuring it out.
The Christmas game, yeah.
I don't know if they were on a winning streak or not. I mean, they had like a 3 or 4 winning streak, from what I remember, 3 or 4 game winning streak.
And we had the big win against Golden State.
Yeah,
that was huge on Christmas Day.
But then when after LeBron got hurt, and then I don't, how long did it take him to come back? Like a month almost, a month and a half. It took
him a while. He missed a good amount of the season.
That team never came together, and that's kind of concerning to me. I think when you say like there's a bunch of guys that are trying to prove themselves, it's the same thing as last year almost. It's just new faces.
I agree.
And the only difference is we have Anthony Davis.
And we're kind of all LA fans are kind of banking on the fact that Anthony Davis is going to come out like firing away, and him and LeBron are going to mesh well together, which they should. They've had a long-lasting friendship, and they've played together on like all-star teams and stuff like that.
It should absolutely help them. I think anytime we have another superstar basically, and it's not like a regular all-star. You know what I mean? Anthony Davis to me is a top 5 player in this league, and I think a lot of people would disagree with that, but I think a lot of people have forgotten like the impact he has. And I think him being on the Lakers, being on a big market team that has a lot of exposure, I think people will remember that.
Yeah. Now, this brings up the next question, I guess. You could talk about this next season, is the fear of injuries, which is kind of hard to predict. And it's fearful. And we already have one on the books. We have Bookie's injury already put out there, torn ACL. That's the reason we had to get Dwight Howard. Yeah. Now, if something happens where Iggy gets bought out by the Grizzlies, then we'd probably want that extra roster spot to try and fill him in. But in terms of injuries, what do you think about this next season? Because this last season, we were completely riddled with injuries. As you said, we got things to click. Yeah. But LeBron's injury happened. Rondo was out for a while. Lonzo was out for a while.
The whole starting 5.
Everyone, the whole starting 5 was completely gone. And, we kind of just didn't have a point guard at one point. We had Ingram running point, and even Ingram had, his issues in terms of injuries as well. Now, this season, everyone looks to be healthy. All we had was the torn ACL from Boogie Cousins, and then we have that ankle soreness with Kuzma, which doesn't seem to be an issue really. It's just he's been working hard, and I have faith in him. He's young, he's gonna come back, he's gonna heal up pretty quick. And he's shown, out of all the young core that's been with us the past 2 seasons, he's shown to be the most durable, really, played the most games and been able to last the most minutes out of all of them. So I think his body is pretty well conditioned, so hopefully he'll be good to go. And then injuries in terms of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I was going to pass that question off to you. What do you think about those two?
I think compared to last season, I think there's a lot on the line for the team in terms of injuries. Yeah. Because I think we have, I don't want to say LeBron's injury prone, but I definitely think moving forward with LeBron on this team, you do have to be concerned about his health and his age. And then, of course, with Anthony Davis, he has a pretty heavy history with injuries. Yeah. So I think this season's very crucial, I think, health-wise. And like you said, you can't predict it, right? It may happen, it may not happen. But, for example, if Anthony Davis gets hurt, I think that's going to be catastrophic for the team. More than if LeBron James gets hurt, in my opinion.
I could see that. Now, I guess the tricky thing is LeBron had one of the biggest injuries of his career this last season. And that's got everyone worried. This man's going to start getting injured more often. And how could you not think that way? But let's also keep in mind that he's been to 9 straight finals appearances and has only had really a 1 month or 2 month summer break every season. So he has barely had any rest he's been able to put on his body. And in terms of nutrition and maintaining his body, LeBron James is probably the best one in the NBA in that category. So prior to this last season, he's never really had an injury like that. But, it's only a matter of time. And concerning how far into his career he is, it's scary to think that is this the beginning of more injuries, or was that just a freak accident, and will he be good to go this next season? It's kind of scary to think about, and, what can you really do about that? Now, in terms of AD, like you said, he's had a good amount of injuries. But another thing I want to bring up as well is AD's also, like, people bring up how we traded for a super injury-prone player. Mm-hmm. But AD's also been injured in a similar fashion as someone else who doesn't get talked about as much in terms of injuries anymore, and that's Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard and AD have pretty much been playing similar amounts of games every season, even if you don't consider the season where Kawhi played like 10 games when he was with his last season with the Spurs. But they've been pretty much similar in terms of the amount of games they sit out and the amount of games they're able to play. Now, the question then becomes, is AD sitting out because he has to, and then Kawhi sitting out because of, say, load management, and like he can play, but he knows which games matter? And that's the question up for debate. But I think AD can still be effective even if he doesn't play all 81 games, and same with LeBron. We don't need them to play all 81 games because when they do play, they just have to win. That's what we got to make sure, is when they are on the floor together, make sure they win. And in comparison, I guess this will come up to the next question, is what type of teams in the NBA is the Lakers strong against, and what type of teams in the NBA are they weak against? And I guess we could bring up in terms of Clippers and Bucks and Warriors and things like that. Yeah. But I'll pass this over to you right now. What types of teams do you think we're good at or going to play good against, and what type of teams do you think we'll play poorly against or maybe struggle against?
Before I answer that, I kind of want to go back to what you said about load management with Anthony Davis and LeBron. Mm-hmm. I think this is where Kuzma is the X factor for this. Mm-hmm. Because, for example, let's say our expectations are let down and Kuzma takes a step back, right? Yeah. And he's not consistent. He hasn't really improved or anything like that. If that were to happen, before I answer the question about how the Lakers, what teams they're good against and what teams they're probably weak against, I want to go back to a point that you made about load management with LeBron and Anthony Davis. Mm-hmm. The X factor for that is Kyle Kuzma to me, because if, let's say, Kyle Kuzma lets down our expectations and he hasn't improved with consistency, he hasn't really improved defensively, you can't do load management with LeBron and Anthony Davis if you think about it.
Yeah. Because you need someone who's going to be able to pull out some wins.
Exactly. Like for the Clippers, for example, they have two MVP caliber players, right? That can switch off and have a good supporting cast. Yeah. But with the Lakers, I feel like a lot of load management is gonna ride on how good the supporting staff is, right?
That's true.
So that's why I wanted to say Kyle Kuzma, I think, is gonna be the depending factor on how they're gonna do load management to me.
Whether he's able to lead the second unit or not, in terms of
just in general, just help with scoring and impact, right? Yeah. Because you can't like let's say, like if you sit LeBron, Anthony Davis is gonna need another weapon or piece, right? Mm-hmm. To help win games for load management and things like that. And same scenario. Like if Anthony Davis sits, LeBron's gonna need, a Kyle Kuzma to live up to his potential and help, right? So a lot of it's going to ride on that. And then to kind of go to the question you asked of what teams the Lakers are going to be good against, I think it's going to be any team that is weak in the inside. I'll start with that.
Weak on the inside. Yeah, I agree. Any team that doesn't have big centers or big interior force.
Exactly. And I think that's going to be the game plan, I feel like, is to beat up teams in the inside. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of the reason why they have Dwight Howard, too. Why they brought him in. Is for that reason.
JaVale and Dwight to switch off and then have Anthony Davis on the floor to put some pressure as well.
Yeah. I think the only difference is this year we have on paper we have more consistent shooters. We'll see, right?
Yeah. You never know.
You never know.
They sound good in numbers, but
good.
When the light's in their face, that's when it really matters.
Exactly. KCP. Because in theory, if you think about it, we have I don't know how to explain this. We're gonna have the same game plan, I feel like, as last year. Mm-hmm. That's to beat up teams inside. The only difference is we have on paper better shooters. So we'll see how that works. And that's up to the coaching staff, right, to figure that out and find the best way to balance both.
I agree with you. Now, what teams do you think will be bad against, really?
That's hard to say. I don't know.
I think teams that can stop the 3-ball. And that can, it's hard to say. Yeah,
it's hard to say because we don't know what this team looks like right now.
Yeah.
I think we'd have to maybe watch the first month of the season to really get a gist or a general idea of, what they can do, what they can't. Right now, it's all speculations. I think, like I said earlier, this Lakers team is a wait and see.
Exactly.
We don't know. We can assume, but we don't know for sure. So those are my thoughts on that.
Okay. I agree with you. Now, could you believe we're almost 23 minutes into this
Are we really?
podcast? Yeah, we're about to hit the 23-minute mark.
I thought we wouldn't even get the 10 minutes, to be honest.
Bro, I knew we would have hit a lot because I already know how we talk over Fortnite, so we could keep going for days. Now, I have some more questions, but I wanted to end it here.
Okay.
Because we could save those for separate videos, and some of the questions I have left are kind of bigger questions. And also, my camera battery's about to die, so I also put my iPhone camera up to record me too, just in case it does die. But I think that should be good for today's episode. I guess we could put this up on the channel. We'll still need to make the channel, and I guess now we can outro this video or this podcast or whatever you call it. I just want to start off too by saying that these podcasts, I'm going to upload the audio to SoundCloud as well, so that if you guys don't want to listen on YouTube or want to be able to listen to it on a car ride anywhere, I'm going to upload the audio to SoundCloud. You guys will be able to listen on your commute or whatever, wherever. And yeah, there's that. So I want to say thank you from my end. I'm Milad. Thank you guys for watching. And this was...
Was I supposed to complete that?
Yeah, you were supposed to say this was... You're supposed to say your name. Damn, bloopers. Okay. I'm Milad, and this was...
And this is Harsh Truth, and my name's Bobby as well. Thanks for listening. We're really excited about this, and we can't wait to see where this goes. So until next time.
Yeah, thank you guys again. Harsh Truths. Signing out. Later, guys.
See you.